Hey everybody, if I could just speak for a moment on a subject that I know I've weighed in on before, and it's one that I think in the past I was much more skeptical about, and I kind of had this kind of satirical take on it, and the subject is Nofap, of course. You know, I was dubious about it. I think what I was dubious about was I heard so many claims being made that I think are not verifiable and are probably not true. And the stuff about how you'll gain powers that you didn't have before. It'll make you into a totally different person. It'll give you testosterone. It'll give you an infusion of testosterone, and so you'll be more energetic and you'll feel better about yourself. I just didn't. None of that really seemed like it made a whole lot of sense to me. Because I mean, let's face it, married men who have an active sex life. I don't know. Are you like they presumably expend their semen. They're not, they're not withholding their affection from their wives. If they're in a healthy married relationship, the sign of a healthy married relationship is plenty of intimacy. So we're talking about the same kind of thing. I know that it's different when it's with a person who you're committed to and who you love, but the function is no different. And so, saying that you gain these kinds of powers by nofap uh, seemed like a dubious kind of claim to make for the reasons I've just stated. Like that's basically claiming that married men are expending all of their testosterone and are not really living up to their potential. Um, it just seemed it seemed dumb. Okay, it seemed ill advised, but I think I've gained a greater perspective on nofap, and I do believe that it's a worthy goal. Especially if you are alone, especially if you are not married. And because I believe in the sanctity of marriage, I would just say I wouldn't count, having a girlfriend that's out of wedlock. But I know the way the world is. I know people who aren't married still have sex with one another in relationships that are, committed in the sense that they're only seeing one another, but not committed in the sense that they've made a bond with one another that they've pledged to be faithful to this person until one or the other of them dies. But when you are on your own by yourself and you do not have you're not pursuing, you're not courting, you're not pursuing the marriage bond, then no fap is something that I think is positive, and it's obviously it's something that if you're able to stick to it, and I know it's not easy, especially when you're younger, especially if you're anywhere between the ages of say 15 and like I don't know 25, maybe even up to 30 or so. I don't know. You're still pretty hot to trot, so to speak, around that time. At some point, it cools off, and it's much easier to maintain. But But when you're young, it does take much more discipline to maintain. And so discipline is good. Disciplining your body is good in and of itself, and disciplining your body against what is certainly a vice, and what some may even term a sin, is a good thing. So I am pro Nofap in that regard. Now, what interests me, and this is something that I heard Gerbert Johnson talk about in a recent, some semi-recent video. Gerbert Johnson is a hilarious young man, and smart and very, very funny. Has a lot of insights into various things. He's got his main channel, Gerbert Johnson, and he's also got Gerbert, is it Gerbert Dark? But anyway, the point is he has this video where he pretty comprehensively goes into Nofap and also talks about the naysayers, talks about the people who are against Nofap. And isn't it interesting in our day and age that the ones who try to who dog Nofap, who are contemptuous of Nofap, it's the social liberals, isn't it? It's it's the ones who don't want, seemingly don't want men to have discipline. They want men to be weak. They want men to watch pornography. They don't necessarily say that directly, but it essentially shines through in what they have to say about Nofap. And that really hit me hard, because it's not the paradigm has not always been this way. Okay. In the past, I would say people on the left, social liberals, would feminists and other groups like that. There was more more of a puritanical strain among some of them, and they would certainly be contemptuous. They a lot of it used to be that feminists were anti-porn, if you can believe it or not. If you can actually believe that. Today, it almost seems like it's just, it follows, the night follows the day, that if you're a feminist, you are, what do they call it? Sex positive. That's kind of a older term, but like being sex positive is something you have to be. It's like in the list of things of, you're not supposed to be homophobic, you're not supposed to be transphobic, you're not supposed to be this, you're not supposed to be that, you're not supposed to be sex negative. And so whoever you are, saying that you're sex positive is like it's a type of virtue signaling, even though to me it doesn't sound all that virtuous to be sex positive. I mean, I'm sex positive when it comes to marital sex. I'm sex positive when it comes to sex as a behavior that is appropriate under certain circumstances in a loving married relationship within wedlock, where with an openness towards children being born and being raised, and the beginning of a family. But that's not what they mean by sex positive. That's not what they mean at all. So that it's interesting that that's where things have gone right now. That's where things stand right now. That's current paradigm. I don't have much more time. I'm gonna bring this video to a close, but I think in the future I'll elaborate a bit on all of this, because I do think it's an interesting subject, and I will also link y'all to Gerbert's video on Nofap, because I think it is useful, and he does a good job. Just looking at it all, looking at the arguments, looking at the people who try to argue against it. He's fair to them, but he also essentially shows how incorrect they are. All right, thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Oh man, I haven't said that in a long time, but that's me. That's who I am. Talk to you.